Mike McCool here. I'm in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today are two of our educators in our county. This is Nina Helmick. She is the principal at Ressie Jeffries, and Matt Hopple. He is the vice principal. We're here today. We're going to talk about a recent fundraising that they did at Ressie Jeffries. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead and start it out and tell us about how this all got started and how successful it was.
Well, it was successful. About 2 weeks ago, Mrs. Helmick and myself, we do have a student, Mason Langlis. He's a first grader at our building.
Right.
We've been there as a team for 3 years. Mason's been with us all 3 years. And he has been diagnosed with, it's called dyskeratosis congenita. Recently, he's been up and down the East Coast getting a few procedures and some evaluations done. Recently, he was up in Philadelphia for an evaluation for a liver transplant. And we've always talked, and we know that we should be doing these types of things for our kids. We threw together just an idea, what was it, last Wednesday? And we said, let's just do a change drive. We thought maybe we'd get $2,000, maybe $3,000 together, and we're still counting, and we're up over $12,500 right now.
Amazing. People will give, when
it's our children,
sure, all the children, they love children, which is good.
Especially to help a family,
yes, it is. And these families can desperately use the funds.
Yes.
Even if you have insurance, it just doesn't cover everything.
No.
It doesn't cover the gas and the travel and hotels
multiple
and
days of
meals,
missing
and
work.
it just
Yes.
so much out-of-pocket expenses that unless you've experienced it, you really don't know what it takes to do it.
Right.
That's great. So he's going to be having some more procedures. And
I
remember
think-
we did post a story about Mason.
So Mason, 2 years ago, had a stem cell transplant, and has been home recovering and doing virtual school. He tried to come in for a little while, and then it just got to where it was probably best for him and his immune system to do school virtually. We were even doing virtual before virtual was a thing with Mason. His first grade teacher had him on a Chromebook in the classroom while she was teaching live, So he has been going up and down to Boston for the last 3 years, multiple weeks at a time, staying in Boston with his mom and dad.
Is he still trying to connect with you on the computer?
He does, and he was able to do a showing for us. He came to the pep rally fundraiser that we had, and was able to pie someone in the face, and he had a good time.
This Zoom world is not the best,
Right.
but when people are forced to isolate, it's amazing that they can still they'll reach out and touch someone, but it does do that.
Yes.
And I'm sure that was more beneficial than any medical treatment to him. In a way, he needs that concern of people, and I think touching out and feeling like, hey, I'm still part of our community.
Yes. He was very much included in that classroom. She would ask live questions of him. He was able to respond. He was still able to eat lunch with his peers through the computer.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was
That's
great.
amazing. That's something that will probably help his recovery a tremendous amount.
It will.
Tremendous amount.
It will.
And I know we've done similar things throughout the years where our educators have stepped up. That's something you didn't really have to do.
Right.
I mean, we want to. We think we would do it, but really, it's a lot of extra work. But people do step up, and they'll do things like that. So, and we appreciate the hard work that you and your staff has done to help Mason. It's really a great thing. And I've heard stories like this before, similar things that kind of go out of the way. I brought rocking chairs over to your kindergarten class a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I thought, I didn't know they had, for your special needs class. And I thought, rocking chairs. And, we need a couple more. And I was on an auction somewhere, and they had rocking chairs, so I sagged them up, and we brought them over there. And you don't think about holding that child and rocking them in kindergarten. I mean, it was just a touching thing, and it's just amazing. I was over at another elementary school in town that we won't, they have initials of LFK, but we won't say who they are.
You know who they are.
We don't mention it, but they have, I just couldn't get over the size of the teams that are in these elementary classes. I just don't think people realize how many kindergarten, first grade, second grade teachers form this little network for our young kids. I was amazed. I really was. And they were just passionate about what they do.
Absolutely.
I've said it many times. I feel like teachers have, if not the hardest job, one of the hardest jobs in in all of this land. And we're so blessed over at Ressie Jeffries. I mean, our staff, our community, they really came together for this event. Like I said earlier, we thought maybe we'd raise maybe $2,000-3,000.
It is amazing.
Just when you really look down at the numbers, I mean, we had 37 kids and their families who donated over $100.
Wow.
So anyone who donated over $100, we said at first we're going to let 3 kids pie us. Maybe one for myself,
Sure,
one for Mrs.
right.
Helmick, and then one anybody they wanted. But once we got the response we did, we couldn't tell a kid who brought in $250 that they're not allowed to pie somebody in the face.
Exactly.
But even if you take away those big donations, which might add up to maybe $4,000 or $5,000, we're still looking at $7,000-8,000 donated,
Just
which
in
was just
small
exactly
Yes.
just the
nickels,
small
dime
ones.
quarters.
Yep.
Yeah, it adds
Yep.
up.
And
I
it
know.
added up over
I
one
counted
week.
out my little change jar one time. I was just amazed
Right.
how much is in that little bitty jar.
Yeah.
Right.
It,
But some
Yes.
of the stories that came out of it, we have a 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Trowbridge. 2 of her boys go to the school. They're a 3rd and 1st grader, and they wanted to do something. So what they did Tuesday night, they baked a whole bunch of cookies, brownies, and muffins. They came in the next day on Wednesday when the kids aren't there.
well, the
and they
teachers are there. I know.
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
and all the teachers are there.
Yes.
And they walked around the school and they sold all baked goods.
Yeah.
And they raised an extra $150 just by
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
So,
Well, they know where the money is.
Absolutely, and they know we
Little
like cookies.
entrepreneurs they are.
yep. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just amazing. The entire community coming together in that culminating event. We always have an SOL parade or an SOL kind of kickoff, a little pep rally.
Sure.
Obviously, this year we couldn't hold it in the gym like we normally would, so we took everyone outside, and kind of Mason was our guest of honor that day.
Yes.
That's great.
So we
It's
celebrated
amazing.
SOLs and we celebrated Mason, and I think that our kids really had a good time, and it was really the first time we said,
Yeah, it was heartwarming again to see our
Yeah.
our student population, at least outside, spread.
Sure,
Because it's
sure.
been a year since COVID hit that we've
Yes.
been able to connect and really see each other. So it was very nice.
Yeah, I've used this example before. I know it's about my own kids, but I can remember when I had my family out in Tucson going to school, and my youngest was in 3rd grade. Of course, it doesn't snow very often, but this is something you can do in elementary school. All of a sudden, she said it came over the PA system to everybody, stop what they're doing. Immediately stop and go outside.
Right. Yep.
And they didn't say why. They thought, oh, what's going on? And snowflakes, this big around were coming down, and so for like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and then it was over. The principal said, get outside, get outside. It's the first
And they're
time.
gonna remember that.
And they can do that
Yes.
at elementary school.
Yes.
And maybe we need more of that type of stuff in things altogether. And
Yes.
stop what you're doing, go outside.
Enjoy life a little.
It is, and I think that's great where these young people will learn these experiences in elementary school.
Right.
And,
Right.
and I think she still talks about that. And she's,
right, exactly.
she's much older.
we-
she's an elementary school teacher.
Oh,
so
good for her.
Good. Well, we have a cheer that we say every morning, and part of it is they're going to be respectful, they're going to care about each other, and take responsibility. And I think this was just one more example of certainly caring about each other.
It is.
So we say it every day, but maybe we don't always put that into our life. And the Ressie Jeffries community really put that forth.
That's good because you can see a lot of that. I know that Shane Goodwin has that little gentleman, boys to
Yep.
gentleman
Yes.
program, and
Yes.
that's an
Makes a
exciting thing. That
Yes.
it just so there's all sorts of stuff going
all
on in our
good
school
stuff.
system that we just really aren't aware of. That's why when I seen this, I wanted to reach out and said, we need to talk about these things,
Yes.
and I think
Absolutely.
people will gather up. So next time there's a change drive. We're going to do a drive up. Just come by and drop them in
Yes.
the,
Yes.
we do that in our church. We have little coin cans, and
Yep.
we support a couple of children homes, and it's
nice.
amazing how much money they raise just from a few
Oh,
cans of
change
coins.
adds up.
It's just that's
It
what he
adds
said.
up.
He said it comes all over the country. It adds up into tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So
Well, and we have virtual classes. We have 7 right now, where the students are full virtual. And one of those classes, Mrs. Biesecker's 5th grade class, they raise close to $500.
Wow.
And they're not even in the school with us every day. So it was an entire effort from the whole entire school community. It wasn't just myself or Mrs. Helmick or 1 or 2 kids or teachers. It was just truly everybody coming together.
Well, I like to say, and I've heard, I think I credit it to Zig Ziglar, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's
Exactly.
that's true, and this is a good example of that.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
So you're going to plan more of these things? You think?
We'll see. I know that I know the family has a fundraiser for Mason on June 19th,
Right.
which is down in Bentonville. I think you guys already
Right.
covered that, which
Yes,
is nice.
Mr. Hupman, Robert Hupman, is putting on something at his farm,
Yep.
Hazardville
Yes.
Farm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert does a lot of good work for the community
Yes.
as well, and he sees these things, and I
Right.
remember that
Yes.
his program in June.
Yeah, we'll certainly put things together. We always kind of, Mrs. Helmick and I, obviously, we work very closely together. For the rest of this year, we got about 4 weeks left. We are getting into
4 weeks
SOL
left.
testing here, so we hope that our children are prepared. We hope that all we ask every day is that they try their best. And
We
it's
celebrate their efforts.
Yep.
Well,
We
I
don't
think-
celebrate passing or failing. We celebrate your effort to do your best, and that's it.
Well, that's it. That's all they say, all you can do is all you can do.
Yep,
and
we want
that's-
what's best, and we celebrate you for trying to do your best.
Well, this has been a tough year for everyone, and
has.
I'm sure young kids especially have, they're not used to isolation.
Right.
Or being around mom all day long.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or vice versa there.
Right.
But it's an interesting field. I can remember years ago, Ressie was not considered one of your top elementary schools in our county. And
true.
my kids went there,
Yeah.
but
It's true. Yes.
I can tell you a lot has changed over the last 35 years when my son was there.
right.
And even when there, and it progressed every year, it was
Yes.
better.
Right.
Yes.
And I knew that there's a lot of good things coming out of all our schools now.
I think one of our main focuses as administrators was to bring back that community and school pride.
It
And
is.
that's
You gotta
something
have that.
in the last 7 years that I've been at Ressie, that's been one of my number one goals. Restoring and letting everyone know that we have amazing people in the building and we do amazing things with our kids. And letting the community know that and supporting our Ressie family, along with
difference.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, we
So-
are a community, even
Yep.
in our
Yes.
schools, and it helps. That's they say everything's local, and that's even localizing and
Right.
localizing, and because
Yes.
it all. Yeah, that's great. I'm really glad that. So we got a couple more things coming up in the last few weeks of school.
We do.
We do.
What are we going to be What is our Ressie Jeffrey community going to be looking to do?
Well, we do have the RSOL tests.
We have SOL tests coming up. We do have we were able to do field days this year. We were a little worried about that, but the 7th and 8th, we made it so that we can distance and still have some fun.
I think last year, or I keep saying, I think we really skip a year because
Yeah.
last year
Right.
doesn't exist. So
Right.
when I say last year, we were over at Ressie doing I think a playground
Yes, yes, we're still finishing
dedication
that up.
or something going on
Yes.
over there, and that was a new thing.
That was about 3 years ago. We're
Has
still,
it been that long?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, last year. That's
Yeah.
what we'll say. That kind of rolls together, and
Right.
you can see
It's a
the
beautiful
big
playground, though.
And you've got your roof doesn't leak anymore.
No, our school's beautiful,
Right.
inside and out.
Yep.
Yes.
The county's done a good job on all the schools, and because I know they were in desperate need, and they just picked them out, and
Yes.
AS Rhodes is going through it, and you
Yes.
guys went through it, and actually have air conditioning now.
Right.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yes. It makes a difference too.
We're spoiling all our teachers here. I think
I think
They deserve it.
I think that was a big part of helping our image as well.
Yep.
Sure.
And the new, being important enough to get that huge renovation that
it
we
was.
did.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Ressie's located over there on that street next to the library, which I always thought, what a crazy place to put a library. Who's going to go? No one goes over there. Well, now they do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you have Mr. Brooks Parks over there.
Yes. Yep.
And you got the library right next
Right.
to you.
Right.
So in the school, it's all
Yes.
It's a
nice
beautiful
little-
campus. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Really.
And you got a majority of your students live right across the street.
Yep, that's a good chunk.
We have a
Yep.
lot of wildlife also
Yes,
that,
you
that
definitely are
visit from the
right
state
next
park.
to the park. Yeah, you're right up next to the park, so it's a great
Yes.
thing. What about this SOLs? Do we think everything looks good for this year? I mean, I think they've modified the rules a little bit, haven't they?
They have modified the rules, and we're just looking at it as we're going to provide,
the best we can.
Best we can. We've been, plagued with a 4-day school week. Reduced hours. Our instruction's been limited this year because of COVID, but I have no doubt that we'll be okay.
Good. Dr. Ballinger indicated at the last school board meeting that we're going back to a 5-day
Yep.
Yes.
schedule next
Yes.
year, so that'll be good.
Yes.
I think people want that, and we'll get
We're
that.
ready.
I think the teachers want it.
Yes.
Unlike California teachers, our teachers want to go back to work.
Yes. Yes.
They do want to work.
Our teachers want to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that's good. I hear good things from the teachers. I want to say the teachers union, but
Right.
I don't know what they
Yes.
call them that anymore here.
Yeah.
But they want to go back to work, and
do.
children want to go. My grandsons, go to school. We want to go back to school. We
Yep.
so
And
I
we
think it's a
Yeah. And we saw that throughout the year. I think the beginning of the year we started with about 60% of our kids in the school.
Right.
And right now we're pretty close to 85% of
Yeah,
the kids.
yeah,
So
I
there
think-
were a lot of kids started virtual, but they made their way back.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
So we're going to have SOL testing. What kind of promotion of we're going to do? I
Yeah.
hear we're going to do a program.
well,
People are going to graduate. Now you had this year is strange. The fifth graders were kind of moved around a little bit, weren't
Not
they?
ours.
Not
You
ours.
guys stayed at.
Yep, we
you,
stayed
You
home.
kept your community, but they did move some
They
around.
did move because
So-
of spacing and distancing.
Right.
and-
So now fifth graders will move over to the middle school. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
So,
So-
Yeah.
you're going to have some graduates.
So last year we had the opportunity, forced to have the opportunity to do a graduation parade.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew our expectations out of
Yeah,
the water,
we loved
and the
it.
families loved it, the staff loved it, so we said this might be a tradition, so we're
Yeah.
going to do it again this year.
That's great.
So-
well, we're going to come over with our camera because last year we did something like that at LFK, and I was surprised the number of cars.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there was a lot, and they were all decorated up,
Yes.
and the teachers were passing out little goodie bags,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
everyone was excited. So that's kind of good. That was kind of a little different because they
Mm-hmm.
really were totally isolated,
Right.
for that
Right.
3-month period
Right.
there, and so much unknown. And so this
Yes.
year it'll be, I think it'll
Very
be
nice.
good. I think
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of people
Oh,
participate
yeah.
in
Yes.
We
that.
had great participation last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
We start with our pre-K. Pre-K
Yeah.
has their graduation at 5 o'clock, and then the fifth graders will roll in at 6 o'clock. Our entire staff, we all pick out 1 or 2 students, and everyone kind of gets a personalized poster.
Right.
So once they leave, they have a personalized poster to take home, along with any fifth grade certificate or award that they
Right.
secure.
I see them there looking through the list of who's coming up because you don't know what list who's
Right.
coming
Yes.
when
Yeah.
But it's great. You can
Yes.
see the excitement
Yeah.
in the teachers just to see their kids
Oh, it
when they
was-
come by. So it was
yes.
great.
Yeah.
And that's nice because then we could get all of our kindergarten, first, second, third, and fourth grade teachers to kind of say goodbye to those fifth graders
Sure.
that they may have had years
Right,
past.
right,
Yeah.
right. So what's planned for summertime? Are we doing any summer?
So the county is having an elementary and a secondary summer school. The summer school will be housed at Ressie this year. There are 10 days that the program will run. It'll be from an 8 to 12:30 program. Each elementary school has invited, I think, 10 from
10
each
schools.
grade level. So I think the last I heard, 200 students were participating in summer school.
Just
this
at the
year.
elementary level.
Just at the
That'll
elementary
give them
level.
the ones that need that little
That little
help.
boost.
Little help, yep.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
boost.
because I said, when I was listening to Dr. Ballinger, he indicated that, we're going to have a virtual academy
Yes.
going forward, but it's just not, it's going to be selective. So if
Yes.
you weren't successful in virtual, you're not going to
Yes.
be allowed to go into virtual
Correct.
next year. You're going to have to.
Correct.
But if you were successful, and it's an option, maybe they're
Yes.
So that out of our several thousand students, we're only
Yes.
looking at about 200 people,
Right.
I think,
Right.
going into virtual. So.
Yes.
And there's special requirements that they need that,
Absolutely.
and
Right.
it does
Yep.
give them that opportunity.
It
So
does.
that's good.
It is.
I don't think virtual's going to go away.
No.
No.
I think it's
I
here
don't.
to stay.
I
It's
think
our
there
new.
is.
I mean, we've been using it.
Right.
I go back to my own children again, but they
Right.
were in Malaysia teaching school, and both of them. My son-in-law, before they went, finished his master's degree online. While they were over there teaching for 2 years, they both got a master's degree, all online.
All online.
So
Well, we actually had a virtual student this year that started the school year in Egypt.
isn't that something?
Yep.
So that's something you just
He
can't
attended
do
school at Ressie
otherwise.
from Egypt.
Yeah.
Yep, and he came
Yeah.
every day.
Every
And
day.
then they feel like they come back and they're like they didn't
Yep.
miss a beat.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't. He's a great student.
Well, some excel at it,
Yes.
Yep.
and some just don't think about it. They don't treat it as the.
Right.
Right.
I always tell people, I said, if I could go back and do it over again,
Right.
I think I would have done wouldn't you
Yes.
agree? You would have done the same
Yes.
thing. There's certain
Right.
subjects I'd have paid a lot more attention
Right.
to.
Yes.
People say, oh, you're never going to use that. Trust me, you use algebra every day.
You certainly do. Math is all around us. I'm a former math teacher. Math is all around us.
Math, we don't
Yep.
think about that until,
That's
as we
Yes.
get older, we
Right.
go back. All we want to do is get out of school. And I would have done, all I did was work, okay, school got in the way of work,
Right.
But if I had to do it over again,
Look at it a
the
little
work would have
differently.
went away and I would have concentrated more on those things. So that's my advice to people today.
Right. Yes.
Concentrate on those things
Yes.
but pick something you like,
Yep.
concentrate on it, and
Absolutely.
you will
All
use
your
it.
passion.
Yep.
Find that passion because this is the time you find it when
Right.
you're
Yes.
even in elementary school.
You do.
And
Yes.
I think it's great that we have teachers that will, mold our young minds.
Yes, they do.
They don't realize how important the job teachers have,
Oh.
and it's just not to manage hundreds of kids every day.
Certainly not.
Try to squeeze in a little bit of education.
And I think that's one of
Absolutely.
the things that our teachers do very well. They kind of
Yes.
bring the lessons to life, and they make it applicable for the students. And we see it when we are in classrooms. Students are engaged. I mean, teachers are working extremely hard, especially this year. But
Extremely hard.
I've always said that we've got the best staff. I know every principal and vice principal says that.
Sure,
but
sure.
I would stack our staff up against anyone in the country.
Well, great. That's what we want to hear.
Yep.
Because that's what drives new people to move to our community is, are the schools any good? What
Yes.
kind of, it's beyond just having a good looking
Right.
building, which we
Right.
do have, and we got air conditioning, I mean,
Yes.
but that's a given nowadays. I think
Yes.
people expect
Right.
to have a good facility, which we have, but the real heart and soul of the school is the
Absolutely.
staff.
Sure is.
And the management.
Right.
And I think we have good management at the school level,
Right.
school board level,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and the school superintendent level. I think our team there is top notch. I
Right.
think they've
Yes.
got that drive like what
Definitely.
you have to
Absolutely.
do the very best for students. I keep saying Dr. Ballinger, but I go to all the school board meetings.
Right,
That's why.
right.
But I hear his focus is on the students and getting
Yes.
the best for the students
Yes, absolutely.
to make sure that, which helps our whole community, helps
Certainly.
everything. So.
Yes.
Certainly does.
Well,
That's
we
where it all
want to
starts.
come back. We're going to see you at your parade.
Yep, June
Okay.
16th.
June
And
16th.
when school starts next year, we hope that you keep the Royal Examiner included on a
Oh, we
lot of
certainly
these
will.
activities because we will help promote them
Yep.
and take your community and let the
Expand it.
rest of our community know what's
Awesome.
going
Thank
on
you.
at
Yes.
Ressie Jeffries because it doesn't hurt. If you don't blow your own horn, no one else will.
That's right.
So get out there and do it. All right.
All right.
We really
Thank you, Mike.
appreciate it.
All right, thank you
I
so
got a
much.
couple of more students. I got a golf whiz I've found out
Okay.
about in
Oh,
our
nice.
county, a little 6-year-old
Okay.
playing
Nice.
golf, and I heard about another kid. We're doing a story on someone that just won a national carpentry award out of
Okay.
the school
Oh.
system. So
Nice.
Nice.
there's a lot of things going on that
Great.
There's a lot of talent in Warren
a
County.
lot of talent
There's a
in
lot of
Warren
talent.
County. So we want to spread that news and let people know that they've chose
a good place
chose
to
the
be. Mm-hmm.
good place to live and raise your family and,
Yep.
and,
Yes.
and do that right here in Warren County.
Right.
Certainly is.
Again, thanks
Thank
again,
you.
Matt.
Thank
and
you.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks
All right.
again.
All right. Thank you so much.